Macbeth, a valiant Scottish general, encounters three witches who prophesy that he will become the King of Scotland. The witches also predict that Banquo, his friend, will father a line of kings, though he himself will not reign. Their prophecies set the stage for the unfolding drama, igniting Macbeth's latent ambitions and setting him on a dark path. The witches symbolize fate and the supernatural, introducing the theme of destiny versus free will. Macbeth informs his wife, Lady Macbeth, of the prophecy. Ambitious and determined, Lady Macbeth persuades Macbeth to expedite the prophecy by murdering King Duncan, who will soon visit their castle. Lady Macbeth's unyielding ambition and manipulative nature become evident as she questions Macbeth's courage and manhood to spur him into action. Her influence highlights the theme of power and its corrupting potential. Consumed by ambition and spurred on by his wife, Macbeth kills King Duncan in his sleep. To cover up the crime, they frame Duncan's guards, whom Macbeth also kills, feigning rage over their supposed guilt. This act of regicide marks Macbeth's descent into moral decay and the beginning of his tyrannical rule. The imagery of blood becomes a recurring symbol of guilt and violence throughout the play. With Duncan's sons fleeing the country in fear for their lives, Macbeth is crowned King of Scotland. However, guilt and paranoia begin to plague him, leading to hallucinations, such as a bloody dagger and the ghost of Banquo. Macbeth's visions and hallucinations reflect his inner turmoil and the psychological consequences of his murderous actions. The theme of appearance versus reality is underscored as Macbeth struggles to maintain his composure and authority. Fearful of Banquo's lineage and the witch's prophecy, Macbeth hires murderers to kill Banquo and his son, Fleance. Banquo is murdered, but Fleance escapes, leaving Macbeth feeling insecure and threatened. The escape of Fleance leaves Macbeth feeling vulnerable, as the witch's prophecy regarding Banquo's descendants remains unfulfilled. This act also demonstrates Macbeth's increasing reliance on violence to secure his power. Macbeth's rule becomes increasingly tyrannical and paranoid. He visits the witches again, seeking assurance. They provide cryptic prophecies: "Beware Macduff, no one born of a woman will harm him, and he will be safe until Birnam Wood comes to Dunsinane Hill." These new prophecies give Macbeth a false sense of invincibility, furthering his descent into madness and tyranny. The witches' ambiguous messages continue to manipulate Macbeth, showing the influence of the supernatural on human actions. Interpreting the prophecies as a challenge, Macbeth orders the slaughter of Macduff's wife and children. This atrocity strengthens Macduff's resolve to overthrow Macbeth. This brutal act exemplifies Macbeth's complete moral degradation and the extent of his cruelty. It also serves as a turning point, galvanizing opposition against his tyrannical reign. Lady Macbeth, tormented by guilt for her part in the murders, begins sleepwalking and hallucinating, constantly trying to wash imaginary blood from her hands. Her mental state deteriorates rapidly. Her famous line, "Out, damned spot," epitomizes her deep-seated guilt and mental unraveling. Lady Macbeth's descent into madness contrasts sharply with her earlier ruthlessness, highlighting the destructive power of guilt. Macduff joins forces with Malcolm, Duncan's son, and the English army to challenge Macbeth's tyranny. They gather their forces in Birnam Wood, advancing towards Dunsinane. The alliance symbolizes hope and justice as they unite to restore order in Scotland. Malcolm's leadership and rightful claim to the throne contrast with Macbeth's illegitimate rule. As the army advances, soldiers cut down branches from Birnam Wood to use as camouflage, fulfilling the witch's prophecy that Birnam Wood would come to Dunsinane. This strategic move by Malcolm's forces highlights the cleverness and resourcefulness of the opposition. It also marks the beginning of the end for Macbeth, as the seemingly impossible prophecy starts to come true. Macbeth remains confident due to the prophecy that he cannot be killed by any man born of a woman. However, his confidence begins to wane as the advancing army approaches. His hubris blinds him to the true meaning of the witch's words, showcasing the theme of over-reliance on ambiguous prophecies and the consequences of unchecked ambition. Lady Macbeth dies, presumably by suicide, driven by guilt and madness. Macbeth reacts with a sense of fatalism, declaring that life is a meaningless path leading to death. Her death marks the tragic culmination of her and Macbeth's joint descent into moral darkness. Macbeth's reflection on life's futility reveals his deep existential despair and loss of purpose. In the ensuing battle, Macduff confronts Macbeth. Macduff reveals he was from his mother's womb untimely ripped, born by caesarean section, thus not technically born of a woman. This revelation shocks Macbeth, as it nullifies the prophecy he believed protected him. It highlights the theme of fate versus free will, as Macbeth realizes too late the true nature of his destiny. Realizing the witch's prophecy has come true in an unexpected way, Macbeth is ultimately slain by Macduff. His death marks the end of his tyrannical rule. Macbeth's downfall is a direct consequence of his unchecked ambition and moral corruption. His death restores a sense of justice and order, though it comes at great cost. Malcolm, Duncan's rightful heir, is proclaimed king, restoring order and justice to Scotland. The country begins to heal from the tyranny and bloodshed of Macbeth's reign. Malcolm's ascension to the throne represents the restoration of legitimate rule and the hope for a peaceful future. The play ends on a note of renewal and the re-establishment of moral order. Subscribe to see more videos like this. If you want to read the play, check the video description for further links or to learn more about the play's key themes and symbolism. See you in the next book.